All right, Rugby Mad family, welcome back to the podcast. And we are wrapping up Fiji's campaign at the Hong Kong Sevens with a clash against the Australia Sevens team in the fifth place playoff. Now, on paper, this might not be the final Fiji were aiming for coming into the tournament, but there was still plenty riding on this game. Pride, momentum, and a chance to finish strong. And in the end, the Fiji Sevens team delivered. A 26-10 win, a composed performance, and they walk away lifting the plate. But as always with this Fiji side, the story isn't just in the result, it's in how they got there. Because coming into this match, there was a bit of pressure on Fiji. That loss to the Argentina Sevens team still fresh. And more importantly, the way they lost that game raised real concerns. Defensively, they were exposed. Structurally, they drifted. And mentally, they looked a little rattled. So this game against Australia wasn't just about finishing fifth. It was about showing growth. And to their credit, Fiji did look like a team that had taken something on board. From the opening exchanges, there was a noticeable difference in their approach. They weren't forcing things as much. They were more patient with the ball. And there was a clearer sense of structure in how they built their attack. Now let's talk about defense, because this is where the real focus has been. And in this game, you could see improvement. The line looked more organized. The communication seemed better. And there were moments where Fiji really stood up and shut Australia down. You could see the intent. You could see the effort to stay connected. But at the same time, it still wasn't consistent. There were still one-on-one tackles missed. Still moments where the line broke down under pressure. And while Australia weren't able to fully capitalize, stronger teams absolutely would. So yes, it's progress. But it's not the finished product. Another thing that stood out in this performance was Fiji's ability to manage the game a little better. Australia are not an easy team to play against. They are physical, they are organized, and they don't give you much space. And in the past, that's the kind of game that can frustrate Fiji. But this time, Fiji showed more control. They picked their moments. They didn't rush everything. And when the opportunities came, they executed. That's why they were able to build that 26-10 scoreline. Not just through brilliance, but through better decision-making. But here's where we zoom out. Because while this was a strong finish, it doesn't change the overall picture of Fiji's tournament. They didn't reach the cup stages. They weren't consistent across the weekend. And at times, they didn't look like a team fully in sync. So this win, as good as it is, feels more like a step in the right direction, rather than a statement. And one of the biggest factors behind that inconsistency has been discipline, not just in terms of penalties, but in terms of emotional control. Because throughout the tournament, and even in this game at times, you could see moments where Fiji let the emotion take over. And that's especially been noticeable with some of the rookies. Now, that's not a criticism, it's part of the learning process. These young players bring energy, passion, and fearlessness. But at this level, you have to balance that with control. And there were moments where Fiji gave away unnecessary penalties or found themselves under pressure because of small lapses in discipline. Those are the moments that hurt you against top teams. So now, attention shifts forward to the next stop on the circuit, the Valladolid Sevens in Spain. And this is where Fiji need to take everything from this tournament and build on it. Because the potential is there, the talent is there, but it needs to come together. They need to tighten their defense, improve their discipline, and most importantly, play as a connected unit for the full game. So Rugby Mad family, when you look at it as a whole, a 26-10 win over Australia, a plate trophy, and a strong finish to the weekend. There are positives to take, but there are still questions that haven't been answered. Because at the highest level, it's not just about winning games. It's about how consistently you can perform and how well you can execute under pressure. Still, questions remain on Fiji's defense and discipline. The same issues we've seen throughout the season. And with the rookies still finding their feet, managing emotion and decision-making will be key moving forward. There's a lot of work to do before the next tournament, but the opportunity is there. So let me know your thoughts, Rugby Mad family. Is Fiji building towards something, or are these same issues going to hold them back again? This is Rugby Mad, and the journey continues.